11 points at the half. Real balanced scoring for the Owls. Weatherspoon has 10, but then Nick Boyd has 8. Golden has 6. Lorient has 7. Rosado has 8. Gaffney with 3. Martin with 1, and not John L. Davis. Martin with 2, excuse me, and John L. Davis with 1. So the two big guns, at least from last year for Florida Atlantic, quiet offensive games, but as you mentioned in the first half, Matt, really involving themselves in the game in other ways.
They impact the game in so many different ways. Both always are trying. When Vlad gets it down in that block, he's got to go and got to go score. But you can see when Rosado gets it, he's such a good passer. Even though at times they didn't make three-point shots, he always faces the basket and is trying to find his teammates. How about this too, Frank? Your two starting guards in Greenlee and Nick Boyd, 9 assists, no turnovers.
Wow. Any coach will take that every day of the week and twice on Sundays. Well, Florida Atlantic opened the season with a win in Chicago against Loyola Chicago. Technically a neutral site game, but certainly a pro Ramblers crowd. And now here at home tonight, the Owls putting on quite a show in the first half, showing off their new sand-colored uniforms. Football team had the sand color on a couple of weeks ago, so it's a little bit of a theme here at Florida Atlantic this fall.
Nowadays, it's tough to keep up with how many different colored uniforms everybody has. It seems like football, they're rolling out a different colored uniform every single Saturday.
Well, that's the way of the world, dude. You know, the more merch you can sell, the better off you are. All right, so we'll get ready to start the second half here. It's Boyd, Davis, Golden, Weatherspoon, and Greenlee, the original starting lineup for the Owls. Rice, Ellerby, Servin, Jeter, and Acup on the floor for Eastern Michigan. Biggest lead in the first half was 25 for Florida Atlantic. Acup to the paint. Jeter spins it down low, and a holding foul on Nick Boyd as he was trying to defend Connor Servin.
You try to be a little bit more aggressive with Acup this half. First play there, you can see they sit him on a double baseline screen to try and get him out there. John L. Davis did a great job, not only switching the second screen, but not allowing him just to catch it in scoring range.
Rice for the Eagles. Baseline jumper on the way and in the hoop.
It's the right play coming off that step-up pick and roll, driving to his right hand. Talk about a mid-range jumper. He did that, got right to his spot, able to step up and knock it down.
Makes it a 21-point game. Here's Davis. Boyd. Now John L. Davis once again. Uses the golden screen, doesn't have anything. Weatherspoon to Greenlee. 5 on the shot clock. Boyd from the corner for 3. Servin with the Eastern Michigan rebound. Better defense from Eastern Michigan on that possession. Jeter on the drive, lays it off the glass and in. First 4 points of the second half go to the Eagles.
Jeter was pretty active in the first half. Transfer from Providence. Played a lot of minutes last year for this basketball team, getting used to Coach Heats' system. He's been one of the bright spots offensively for Eastern Michigan tonight.
Greenlee answers with a triple for the Owls.
Greenlee rises up and knocks it down. If you're Dusty May, you want your team to come out of the locker room with the same intensity. We're not looking at the scoreboard. We've got to get better. We've got to improve. One of the things that's got them to have this big lead in the first place has just been their effort. It's been plays like John L. Davis is making right here, mixing it up on the inside, effort plays to get his team out on the break.
Greenlee thought about a 3, beats Golden, and he's fouled by Acup before the basket.
You can see Dusty May fist pumping, telling John L. Davis, great job. Greenlee comes off. The effort to get the ball inside the Vlad Golden early in this half, but Dusty May is praising John L. Davis's effort constantly, as he should, because, man, it has been outstanding in this game.
Davis to trigger in. Boyd. Lost the handle momentarily. Now John L. Golden, low block. The hook shot won't go. Off the floor, it's Rice picking it up for Eastern Michigan. Acup around the screen. Acup takes it all the way, count it, and one.
Tough finish by Tyson Acup. Anytime he can get to his right hand and get in the paint, he's so difficult to guard because of his size and his physicality. You see him driving to his right, absorbs the contact, able to go up there and finish for the and one.
Second foul on Nick Boyd, and Acup will looking for point number 14 at the line. Completes the three-point play. And it's a 19-point Florida Atlantic lead. Davis looks at Golden in the post. Greenlee at the elbow. Golden down low, foul before he made his move to the hoop.
Every offensive set that FAU was running this second half has been to get the ball to Black Golden on the block. They're working hard. Nobody's forcing anything in there. Got to keep praising the unselfishness. But you can see there is an effort to go to Black Golden to start the second half.
Foul was on Jeter. He goes to the bench. Martinoff into the game to replace him. Greenlee open for three. Brian Greenlee, lock and load on target. 9 points for Greenlee, all on threes.
He led this team in scoring versus Eastern Michigan last year. 23 in the game. FAU shot 50% from behind the three-point line.
Here's Rice. Fends off Boyd, now backs him down. Fades, fires, no. Boyd rebounds. Nick Boyd takes it all the way, can't finish. Golden, left hand puts it in.
Effort plays. FAU continues to make them in this basketball game, much like Coach May alluded to in the first game versus Loyola Chicago. He's going to continue to praise that effort as John L. Davis just being a little too aggressive on the reach-in. But, Frank, going back to Brian Greenlee, we talk about just the balance that this team has. He's a team leader last year in three-point field goal percentage, second on the team in assists. And, man, how good was he versus Kansas State in the NCAA tournament? 4 for 6 from behind the three-point line. It's just, if you're scouting this team, who are you taking away? We got to take away threes. We can't give up layups and dunks. But who are we going to help off of? That's the biggest question for opposing coaches when you face this FAU team is, where do we help? Where can our help come from? Because we don't want to help off any of these guys on the perimeter because we're going to give up 3-point shots.
Kirill Martinoff, the 7-footer from Barrie, Ontario, makes 1 of 2, but I believe we had a lane violation, so he'll get another chance. Martinoff, one of 5 7-footers in the MAC this year.
I know Coach Calipari in Kentucky, he's got 3 7-footers, but none of them can play right now.
Very unusual looking free throw. Martinoff makes 1 of 2. Literally shoots it with one hand. The guide hand is off the ball. Don't see that very often. There's a foul on McGriff as Greenlee started to drive.
Speaking of Kentucky, Frank, Legends Classic tonight in Chicago. There's some good basketball being played. I know Coach Calipari wishes he had one of those 7-footers to try and stop Hunter Dickinson tonight in Chicago.
Greenlee, pick and roll, Golden foul. Yusuf Jihad picks up the foul.
You know, Brian Greenlee last year, second on the team in assists. Nick Boyd, team leader in assists. And those guys just kept up where they left off. 9 assists, no turnovers in the first half. We talked about Boyd, just his leadership, his vocalness out on the floor, not just in games, but just means so much to this team in practice.
And by the way, if you're going to watch Saturday's game against Bryant, as Weatherspoon fires and hits a corner 3.
Frank, where do you help from? John L. Davis, heady play, finds the open man in the corner. Eastern Michigan tried to go zone there. Extra pass, wide open 3.
McGriff answers with a jumper. What my original thought was, the Saturday halftime feature is going to be Nick Boyd mic'd up at practice, and you'll see exactly what you're talking about.
It's so impressive to see, and it's infectious throughout the entire team.
Golden on the pick and roll, count it, and one.
Another great find by Greenlee, just so patient. But how about Brian Greenlee, his ability to knock it down from the three-point line. His hot streak continues. FAU hurting them from all different angles. John L. Davis, extra pass. FAU rolling.
Right where they left off last season, Matt, and they registered 35 wins against 4 losses, but you look at the scoring leaders, and it's, as you said, spread around. Who do you guard? Who do you double?
Who do you guard? Who do you double? Who don't you guard? That's the problem. Who do you help off of? I just feel like it's just such difficult for opposing coaches to prepare for it. Do you try to switch defenses? How do you take them out of a rhythm? Do you try to maybe go some tempo press back to zone? It's not easy to scout these guys and prepare for it.
Vlad Golden stepping to the line, trying to complete the old-fashioned three-point play. He rattles in and out, so it stays 64-38. McGriff. Here's A-Cup. He's been the main offensive threat for Eastern Michigan tonight. Martinoff with the reverse.
See, though, Golden being much more aggressive pick-and-roll coverage that time with A-Cup. Had he not fallen down, that layup would have never happened. They want to keep him from getting to his right hand, but not allow him just to pick them apart with his size and ability to see over defenders.
Here's Davis. Kicks it out to Boyd. Davis again in the corner. Guarded by Billingsley. 10 to shoot. Good pass, Golden. The left-hand shot is good.
Good play by John L. Davis, driving it to the baseline. Anytime there's a baseline drive, there's 3 spots that got to be occupied. The drift, the diagonal. Elijah Martin was there, and the dunker spot was exactly where Vlad Golden was supposed to be. He's the recipient on a great play by John L. Davis.
Biggest lead of the night for the Owls at 26. A-Cup kicks it out to Billingsley. Billingsley fires over Martin and hits.
Tough shot from Jalen Billingsley.
First basket of the night for Billingsley. Martin drew a foul as he drove in.
Billingsley, another one of those high major transfers, came in from Georgetown. Played a lot of minutes last year for this team, had 15 starts. You see Martin here being aggressive in transition. Sometimes, Frank, the best way to get your offense going is get yourself to the free throw line. Get yourself more in a rhythm if you can get to the foul line. Love Martin's aggressiveness in transition.
Arna Osuniak picked up the foul. Osuniak's first. Martin rattles it in. Giancarlo Rosado checks back in, replacing Vlad Golden in the Owl lineup. And as you mentioned, Matt, in the first half, absolutely no drop-off with those two guys. They're rarely on the court together, although I know Dusty made plans at times this year to use both Rosado and Golden in a big lineup.
Only reason to do that is if you're playing against another big lineup.
Right.
Right, this offense is just so efficient and so good, and everybody knows their role. And they genuinely care for each other and get joy out of seeing their teammates succeed.
Osuniak fires it up in the lane, won't go. Good rebound, Martin. Owls trying to get out on the run. Boyd, step back triple, on target.
What a pass by Elijah Martin. The unselfishness, Frank. It would have been easy for him to try to force something up in transition. His teammate pointed to him. Big time play. Dusty May high-fiving his guys as they come off the floor.
Yeah, terrific pass by Elijah as he led the fast break. And as you said, he could have taken it to the rim, maybe draw a foul, instead gives it up for the Boyd three-pointer.
But again, Watch him push it in transition. His head and his eyes are always looking up the floor. He's not just zeroed in on trying to get to the basket. He's generally trying to find one of his teammates for a wide open three.
And that was the 20th assist of the night for Florida Atlantic on their 28 made field goals. They're shooting a tick under 61%.
Frank, we may be breaking in on a record here. I don't know, we got to go to the archives in our next time out. We've got to see what's the single game record for assists in a game.
Yeah.
We're getting close.
We're getting close. I mean, it's remarkable how willing this team is to share the basketball. You don't see it everywhere.
I think, Frank, too, one of the hardest things to deal with in sports is expectations. You look at this FAU team last season, yes, there were some expectations. There weren't the expectations that are on the group this year.
Oh,
and sometimes
close.
as a player, you can get polarized by those expectations. But when you're sharing it, when you're moving it, when you're not focused on yourself, those expectations go out the door.
Quick anecdote for you. They go to the Final Four last year. They lose on the last second shot in the semifinal to San Diego State. They get back to campus on a Saturday. The following Monday, my office is over in the stadium. I come over here to the gym. I forget what I had to do. There's 4 guys on the court working on their shots. They got home on Saturday from the Final Four. Dusty told them, take a couple of weeks. But I was here for 10 minutes. There were 4 guys out here shooting.
You know, Frank, when the clock hits 0, and I don't know about you, but when I was watching that game, that last shot hung in the air for a long time. Because you cover this program for an entire, obviously I've been around and covered some games with you. We were all rooting for FAU in that moment.
Absolutely.
No question about it. But when the clock hits 0 and it's over, that becomes a very selfish time. It becomes a very selfish time for players, becomes a very selfish time for coaches. What now can I get? That wasn't the case for anybody associated with this program. From Dusty May to his assistant coaches to every single player on this team, none of that selfishness crept in. Everybody stayed, and that is rare in today's day and age. And that's a credit to Dusty May, his coaches, and the culture that he's built at this school.
And not long after that Final Four, Dusty May signed a 10-year contract. Billingsley against the smaller boy. Draws the double team. Acuff swings it to Osonia. He can't hit the 3, and Boyd comes away with the rebound.
I want to talk about team defense. That is a clinic on team defense. As Nick Boyd with another effort play in this game.
That's a travel on John L. Davis. The other thing is, John L. Davis and Elijah Martin both tested the waters for the NBA. They went to the G League Combine. Both of them worked out for somewhere between 5 and 6 teams. And they decided, no, I'm going to come back.
Frank, and they'll both have opportunities to play at that level. I know there's been a number of NBA scouts that have come through, watched these guys in practice, are evaluating on them. But we know how talented they are offensively. We know how talented the scorers. If I'm an NBA scout, the things I'm looking at is their attitude, their effort, and those guys, their unselfishness. And those guys, for 2 games this season, have been absolutely outstanding in those categories.
There's Acuff. Drives it in on Rosado and can't finish, but it was poked back up and in. I believe Jeter's going to get credit for that basket. He is. It may well have been off an FAU hand as well, but they're giving Jeter credit. And it's 71-44. We approach 12 minutes to go in the ballgame. Rosado hands to Martin. Lock and load for 3. Won't go. Still struggling with his shooting, Elijah Martin.
Shooting it with confidence, so Frank. Rose up, that one looked good. It's only a matter of time before one of them goes down.
There's Rice with the mid-range pull-up. And 3 Owls around the defensive rebound. Rosado finally came away with it. Rosado, high post. Bounce pass. Martin, the reverse, draws a foul. How about Rosado going between the legs on the dribble out of the high post? FAU with 10 3-pointers on 20 attempts. Ryan Greenlee has 3 of them. Weatherspoon, he's also got 3. And the Owls lead this one easily here in the second half. Back in Boca Raton, Eleanor R. Baldwin Arena on the campus of Florida Atlantic University, the 10th-ranked Owls leading Eastern Michigan here in the second half, 71-44. The Owls were up 23 at halftime. Their biggest lead has been 29. That was just a minute or so ago. And they continue just to share the basketball, get good shots. Brennan Lorian back in the game for the Owls. And Elijah Martin will be at the line when we resume.
Frank, if you go back to that Loyola Chicago game, if we're going to be at all critical of FAU, and it's hard to be critical about anything they've done this evening, it's got a little bit stagnant in the second half offensively, just 1 for 9 from the three-point line. Man, this second half for them, they've gotten off to the right start. The ball's moving. There's nothing stagnant about their offense in the second half of this game.
Amart misses the first free throw. Still at 4 points. 2 of 3 from the line tonight. Makes the second.
How many times last year did you see Frank Elijah Martin just go on a burst?
Oh, several times.
He may have 5 points with 11 minutes to go in the game, and he ends up with 25. I mean, he's that type of offensive player.
Here's Rice. Jeter tried to get it down low to Billingsley off his fingertips for a turnover.
Defense by Gaffney on the inside, just not standing dead behind in the post. He's a guard, he's getting post up, he's working around, he's fronting, he's trusting his teammate to run over on the help side. That's an effort play that just doesn't go in the stat sheet.
72-44 Owls. They've led this one right from the jump. Literally from the jump ball. They got a dunk off the jump ball. There's an illegal screen on Rosado. The other rule, Matt, and illegal screens have been a big emphasis over the past couple of years, but correct me if I'm wrong, aren't they sort of de-emphasizing the charge this year? That unless it's really obvious, they're kind of calling it a block or letting it go?
It's hard to keep up with all the rule changes. And I'll tell you one thing, Frank. They always come in, you start talking about points of emphasis and rule changes and all like this. The referees are human beings too. A lot of times they ref the game on field. And all those points of emphasis that we talked about in October, you never really see them once the games start tipping off.
Foul was on Ryan Greenlee of the Owls. That's his first. Acup will trigger in on the baseline for the Eagles. Acup has it back. Guarded by Rosado out on the perimeter. Acup at 20. Ellerby, offensive rebound. Blocked by Rosado. Here comes Martin. Amart drives, and a lid is on for him as Lorian fouls.
Go back to that previous possession. Talking about Rosado, he gets switched on to Acuff. You can see Stan Heath is waving everybody to get out of the play to let Acuff take Rosado on one-on-one. Rosado, great job of forcing him into a long two, staying down in his defensive stance, didn't get beat off the dribble, and just such an outstanding defensive play.
Jeter with the layup off the Ellerby assist. Legend Jeter has 13 points. Here's Martin. Just 1 for 7 tonight for Amart. But again, still affecting the game. Lorient into the paint, tried to hit Rosado, stolen by Legend Jeter. 9:30 to go in this one. Acup backs it out for 12 on the shot clock. Jeter finds Ellerby. Three-pointer, no good. So it was over the backboard, and the possession will belong to Florida Atlantic. Let's take a look at the Rosado block on the defensive end.
Cook's a little bit cut off, right? Before that, forcing Tyson Acup into a long two-point jumper. Didn't quit on the play, got back down there and blocked that shot. He just impacts the game in so many different ways. His ability to pass and his ability to guard guards at the 5 spot gives you just so much flexibility defensively.
Giancarlo will take a rest. Vlad Goldin back into the game. They're looking for him down low. Martin with a triple. Well, that'll break the streak.
It's only a matter of time, Frank. It's only a matter of time.
First three-pointer for Elijah Martin tonight. He has 8. Good defense by Elijah. Slapped it away and stolen by Gaffney. Gaffney was tripped, no call. And a jump ball possession arrow belongs to the Owls.
Just watch him as he knocks down this three-point shot. At the very next possession, they get a stop, they get a rebound, and the effort level that Elijah Martin plays with to get down the floor. He didn't even receive that pass. There's probably been 8 or 9 possessions tonight where he's done exactly that. Ball never even came to him, but he's opening up the floor for his teammates just by running.
Running when they're up 31. So the scoreboard doesn't matter to effort, right?
No question.
Here's Greenlee on the lob. This Goldin. Eagles come the other way. Rice pulls up. Martin off the bad miss. Elijah into the paint. They move it to Weatherspoon. Corner 3.
Elijah Martin started that possession again. His head up, coming down the floor. Extra pass to Weatherspoon. Great play by the veteran guard in Gaffney.
4 for 4. Weatherspoon from 3 tonight. He's got 16 points. The Eagles turn it over. We'll take a timeout. 8 minutes. Eight minutes exactly to go in this one. Florida Atlantic ranked number 10 in the country. 80-46 over Eastern Michigan. Frank Fort, Matt McCall with you. And Matt, how about the bigs for Florida Atlantic?
Well, you talk about how difficult this team is to prepare for. One, when Vlad Goldin's in the game, FAU makes the effort to try to go to him in the post. So you got to prepare for that. How are we going to play post defense? Are we going to double him? What are we going to do when he's in the game? If we double him, he's going to spray it out for threes. And then here comes Rosado, who plays more out of the mid-post, high-post area. Now we got to account for his passing, his ability to put the ball on the ground. It's just a scouting nightmare for opposing coaches.
23 points between the two bigs tonight. And they're both in the game right now. So as I mentioned before, Dusty's going to experiment a little bit, sometimes against bigger teams with both of them. Last year they were rarely, if ever, on the floor together. Here's Rosado looking to feed Goldin down low, instead hands to Greenlee. Skip pass, Gaffney. Rosado, lob, Goldin, easy finish.
Set play, coming out of the timeout, both bigs in the game, they're gonna go high-low. Great job by FAU of sticking with their offense. Play breaks down a little bit in the shot clock. Rosado flies in there to the high post area, high-low, great pass by Rosado.
Martin up, hands it off for Servin, lost the handle, belongs to FAU.
That's where a lot of coaches get concerned if you're gonna play 2 traditional front court players in a game together is, what are we gonna do defensively? Well, both these guys are so good defensively, it doesn't matter what you do.
And you mentioned Rosado's athleticism allows him to guard fairly well out on the perimeter.
It's that backdoor play again. Weatherspoon had him, came around for the handoff, and decided not to go backdoor.
Greenlee straightaway triple.
Weatherspoon didn't go backdoor, but he continued his cut all the way through. Found him in the corner, extra pass for Greenlee. Great unselfish play.
Greenlee with a dozen, all on threes tonight. Rosado with the crossover, fouled by Martinoff as he went to the rim.
Frank, he was winding that one up for a SportsCenter top 10. He kind of got a little bit too fast for himself. You could tell he wanted to bring that one up. Nobody's left yet, Frank. We've got a 40-point basketball game, and the place is still full.
And they're still loud.
And you're still out.
Rosado wanted to have a Houston we have liftoff moment. Instead, he'll get 2 free throws. You'd never know Dusty was up 40, would you?
And for Eastern Michigan, they're going to get 9 transfers on this team. They've got some newbies, still learning how to play without Imani Bates. I mean, we talked about it in the pregame. When you have a player of his talent, who, oh, by the way, has played in 3 NBA games this season. He's an NBA player.
Yeah.
Ball hits his hands, you know what's going up. I mean, that was his job. That's how they had to play. This is a little bit different of a system than even the guys like Acuff, Jeter that were on the team last year. You got to get used to this playing without him. Coach Heath's coached enough games. They're going to be a much, much better team come conference play January and February.
Rosado got 1 out of 2 at the line. This is Acuff, guarded by Gaffney. Underneath, Yusuf Jihad finishes with the reverse.
Good play by Acuff, driving at baseline, finding the open man. His size and strength allows him to just see over guys to be able to make the right play.
86-48, Owls comfortably in front. Rosado with the reverse. 11 points for Giancarlo.
Just the footwork on the baseline drive from your 5-man who's now in the game at the 4. Coach May with this big lead just trying to experiment with some different things. You never know, Frank. You never know with foul trouble you run into a bigger team in conference. And we're going to talk about this coming out of the next time out, but just the schedule that Dusty May has put together for this team. They're going to get pushed. There's going to be challenges, especially early here.
Acuff now with 16 to lead Eastern Michigan. Rosado in the high post. Bit of a wild shot. Tracks down his own rebound. And the Owls will reset. Greenlee on the baseline. Gaffney finds Rosado. Rosado on another drive to the basket and a finish.
Frank, he's going to get it done. I don't know when he's going to get it done in this game, but it seems like he's getting himself in a position to really wind one of those back and bring the house down.
40-point game with 4:48 to go. But Grip on the drive. Jihad can't finish. And the Owls, their guards are such good rebounders. And that was a big strength of their team last year. Golden, left hand, kisses it off the glass.
Something he worked on hard this summer, Frank. The times last year he would try to really force that right-hand jump hook. Great move. They got it to him down on the...
And if
stays 94-50. Here's steal by Davis. Acuff fires the triple, count it, and 1.
Tough shot by Tyson Acuff.
He is a player.
Falling away from the basket. With John L. Davis just all over him. Hey, Frank, how about this? It's a 40-point game. There's 3 minutes and 40 seconds to go. And John L. Davis and Lorient and Boyd and Trey Carroll and Gaines and all these guys are playing like the ball was just tipped up in the air and it's the first possession of the game.
Not only that, it's a blowout and John L. Davis has 1 point. Which goes to your earlier point of, it could be a different guy every night.
Be a different guy every night. And we know John L. Davis is going to play at the next level. That's what NBA teams and general managers and scouts are looking at. How is he handling when sometimes his offense isn't going well? What are the other things he's doing out there to impact winning? And man, he's done a lot out there today.
40-point game with 3:20 to go. Trey Carroll. Left-hand shot, won't go. Tipped by Isaiah Gaines is no good. And the Eagles able to save it in with Connor Serban getting it to Acuff. Oh, and by the way, after that non-conference schedule, it's just the American. Not that time for Acuff. Big scramble for the rebound. Isaiah Gaines came out of it. By the way, preseason pick, as there's the lob for Lorient. And again, we we have liftoff.
FAU fans are really going to enjoy Lorient the next several years of his career. Man, that freshman to sophomore jump, he looks like a completely different player.
No question. When I saw him in practice, I went to a few practices before the season started. And I saw him on the court, and I turned to one of the staff members and I said, is that the same guy that was here last year? Because he totally looked different. Leo Beebe coming into the game, the walk-on wearing number 30 for the Owls.
Another guy I thought that had a really good fall camp that did some great things on just a couple practices that I was able to come to. Who's going to have a great career in an FAU uniform is Isaiah Gaines. He's another guy that's made jumps, made some improvements. Biggest thing for him is just the opportunity, continuing to be patient. Vlad Golden, Giancarlo Rosado are outstanding players. He's a really good player as well, who has a really bright future in this program.
There's Isaiah Gaines. Beebe. Gaffney was 7 to shoot. Beebe with a corner 3. That's an air ball. Rebound out of bounds, but a shot clock violation.
Elijah Martin, Nick Boyd, Vlad Golden, Weatherspoon, John L. Davis, Greenlee. Did I miss anybody over there that's standing and cheering their teammates on? They want their teammate to knock down that 3. They're celebrating success, rooting for guys. That's culture, Frank.
No question about it. Under 2 minutes to go. Derek Granger, freshman in for Eastern Michigan. Here's McGriff. McGriff forces up the shot, no good. And Isaiah Gaines with another rebound. Trey Carroll, now Lorient. Gaffney, he'll fire from 3. Trey Carroll with the offensive rebound. And reverse layup.
Effort plays up 40, Frank. Trey Carroll, we talked about him a little earlier. There were times in conference season where he had some big-time minutes and really impacted winning for this team. Those guys just got to remain patient. Their opportunity is coming, and you never know when your number's going to get called, and he was ready when his number was called.
Griff fires over Gaines and hits. Counted and a foul. Crowd here wanting another hoop to get to 100. As Jack Johnson, the other walk-on the FAU roster, comes into the game and the bench is going crazy.
Every single player and every single coach is standing up right now for Zach Johnson, who's not gun shy, by the way. I came to a practice, when the ball hits his hands, I fully expect in this minute and 5 seconds, he's going to get one off at some point here, Frank.
McGriff completes the 4-point play. He's got 6 on the night, and we have hit 1 minute to go in this one. The fans screaming for 100. Gaines kicks it out to Johnson. Beebe feeds Carroll. Off the glass and in, and there's your triple digits.
Frank, nobody's left.
No.
I'm not getting out of here. I wouldn't have any problems with traffic. Nobody's left.
Rice for a 3. Gaffney comes away with the rebound, and Florida Atlantic does not have to shoot again. We'll see if they try to get Johnson a shot. Dusty says, nope, we're going to shut it down.
This team's fun to watch, Frank. They're an easy team to root for just because they play the game. They play the game the right way. They celebrate each other. Top 50 team a year ago in both defense and offense. That's how you win games. And you win games with culture, and FAU has a big time.